Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm proud to be sitting next to the incredible Lyle Workman, an individual who I put out my invitation to have you come on the show with some trepidation, not knowing if you would agree to this. Somebody with your esteemed career, not only playing with Sting, Sarah McLachlan, Beck, but working on films, some of my favorite films from Judd Apatow, including The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Superbad, Get Him to the Greek, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, to name a few. Thank you so much, Lyle, for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Well, what I like to do is kind of use the interview to kind of talk about certain parts of your career in sections. And I think I see it as your work doing composition for film, and I see you having this career as a kind of a session musician and sideman, and as a member of various bands. And so maybe we take it in a couple of different sections and kind of break it down accordingly.
Sure.
Based on that. I think we should start with your work with Judd Apatow on the movie Superbad. It has some of the greatest funk guitar playing of any movie or film since the 70s.
Wow.
I want to know, how did you get connected with Judd to even begin to work on this film?
It was through session work. I was working with a fine film composer, Ed Shermer, and his wife was an executive at Universal Films. And I was friendly with Ed and his wife, Allie. She was the executive. And she had informed Ed that Harry Garfield, who was the vice president of music, needed some guitar for a personal project. And so Ed said, hey, if you want to do a favor for this music executive, it might not be a bad thing for you. Because I had done one independent film prior, but had no lines on any future work. So I ended up doing this favor for this executive. He was in this studio, and I'd made a CD. That's the time that it was. This is probably around 2002 or 2003.
Right.
Of music from this prior film and some of my own instrumental music. And I just set him off with it once we were finished. And he called me back, because I really like what I heard. And there was a movie that was in progress at that point. It was called Kicking and Screaming. And it was a kids soccer movie with
Will Ferrell, yeah.
Yeah. And so this executive said, hey, would you want to try your hand on some of the scenes here? The director's needing this kind of music. And so I ended up doing that. And Judd was a producer on that film. So that was my end to him. And shortly after, he signed a deal with Universal for his directorial.
Yeah. And
the first movie was 40-Year-Old Virgin. And the executive championed me, and Judd says, well, let's give the kid a shot.
Yeah.
And Judd is also a big music fan, so I think he was aware of my work. Frank Black, Todd Rundgren, so he was a big music guy.
Yeah, which we will get into, I promise.
Yeah. And so I auditioned a couple scenes and ended up getting the job. And the success of that movie led to Superbad, another Judd production. So that basically was my start.
Yeah.
And kind of cut corners a bit to the front of the class, because both movies were number one 2 weeks in a row.
Wow.
So my first films were that way. So
you had some home runs your first at bat there, huh?
Yeah, it was incredible.
What do you think it is about your style that drew Judd to you? Because you seem to be the guy for seemingly every Judd Apatow movie now.
Well, I've done a few. I haven't done all of them.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess he had a feeling, and he liked the work that I did, and it was just a good partnership, I guess you'd call it.
Did you ever ask him where he had heard of you first?
No. Yeah, it was like get business. As soon as you're in the hot seat, you're just like, okay, what are we doing?
And would you be doing that stuff here? Would you go to a certain studio to do all of this work, in terms of the guitar and stuff like that, what would be sort of the location, the workflow that would happen?
Well, this studio is like the workspace. So I would do, in the case of 40-Year-Old Virgin, so we recorded a lot of stuff here. Anything that was orchestral, we would do at a bigger studio, or anything where I needed a full band and more space, we would do that in Sunset Sound or Capitol, or a place like that.
And would you be responsible for hiring those people?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So is that a learning curve, like coming from the session kind of musician standpoint to like say, okay, we need to figure out how to like cast the right group of, string arrangements and all that stuff. Did you do all the string arranging, or did you like hire that out, or how did that work?
Well, I would do the arranging, and I'd have an orchestrator who would take, usually you work in groups of strings, brass, and woodwinds, percussion. So I would do my mock-ups in the computer, and then, so a string patch would just be one MIDI file with all the strings in it, and then so the orchestrator would separate it out. And in case of working with orchestras, there's contractors here, so I was pretty fresh to that.
Yeah.
And so I got hooked up with a great Gina Zamiti, was fantastic, one of the best in the business, and she made sure that I had all the best people to work with.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm curious, like with Superbad in particular, part of the attraction I think a lot of not only musicians but just fans of the movie have is the music seems so tailor made for sort of the identity of the characters in this sort of 70s funk vibe. It has almost like a James Brown sort of thing, or it could be Shaft or Superfly. It has all these elements of funk music in it. Did Judd come to you and say, this is the spirit of the film, or did you interpret that as funk?
It was baked in from the get-go. Just the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Is a James Brown song.
Yeah.
So that Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, that they wrote Superbad when they were in high school. So that was already there. When I saw an early cut of it, it was all that kind of music temped in.
Okay.
So that was pretty easy. I didn't have to figure out what is the score here.
Okay.
That was going to be the entire score.
Got it.
So what was different is that instead of, let me back up. So all the demos for all the cues were done here in the studio with local musicians, and it was great. Mm-hmm. Any other circumstance, that would have been the score. But man, when it's James Brown, when it's the music that they put in that they're cutting to is those guys.
Yeah.
So what if we actually hire those architects of that music and have them be the band?
Yeah.
And so that's what ended up happening.
So who are the folks that you hired, just to kind of name a few of them?
Bootsy Collins,
Yep.
Bernie Worrell, Jabo Starks, and Clyde Stubblefield.
Was it hard to get them to agree?
And Catfish Collins on guitar. And then also Jeff Babko.
Yeah.
And Luis Conti.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it hard to get them to agree to this concept, or were they like immediately like, I'm in?
No, that I think once they saw the page, once they knew what they were getting paid, it was, those were the good old days where the budgets were nice and healthy.
Right. This would have been kind of like the mid 2000s or so.
Early 2000s, yeah. But the thing that was interesting is that I knew I wanted Bootsy Collins, because he was both with James Brown and Parliament and, Funkadelic. He was the guy.
Yeah.
So the thing is, well, how do I get in touch with Bootsy Collins? I had no idea. I had nobody, no contact. And I just happened to be looking through emails, and Maxon, the pedal manufacturer. I saw Bootsy Collins appearing at the NAMM booth, for a NAMM show. And I went, oh, okay. So I called my buddy at Maxon. I said, hey, I'm doing this movie. I wanted to get him to play on it. I'm wondering if I can get his number or information, or maybe I'll just go talk to him at the NAMM show since it's in LA. So I arranged in advance to meet him. And so I went to the NAMM show with the director of the Superbad, Greg Mottola, and the music supervisor / music editor, Jonathan Karp. and we met. We went to the booth and talked to Bootsy during the break and one of his breaks, and he said, "Well, I'll get in touch with everybody." We kind of gave him a thumbnail sketch of what it was going to be, and he was totally in for it.
Wow.
He contacted the other people.
Was he at all apprehensive of who you guys said you were? Or was he like,
not at all.
No, he knew that you guys were the real deal.
I guess so. I think it was, we ended up talking to his manager, and he came up with a very healthy number for his day, and that would be it for everybody, and so that's how it all came together.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
beautiful. And I want to play a little bit of the scene with where you see Jonah Hill and Seth Rogen and Bill Hader and
Michael Cera.
Yeah, Michael Cera and I forget the name of McLachlan, but his actual name. But in any case, the scene, they're getting arrested and they flee, and this cue is you sort of embodying the spirit of that sort of James Brown, Parliament, all of the 70s funk in kind of one little montage. So I'm wondering if we can cue that up and have you play a little bit of it.
Sure.
All right.
Good thing.
That was insane. Oh. Sounded great.
Oh, thanks.
So was this was the actual guitar you used?
This is the guitar I used, yeah.
What is this?
It's a 63. I bought this when I was on tour with Beck in 1999.
Wow. That was a good time to be on tour with Beck.
Yeah, we played it was one of those bridge school benefit things with Neil Young.
Okay.
And a friend of mine told me about this vintage shop in Campbell. It's not there anymore. So I went there, and this guitar was underneath. It was like a counter with a glass. Yeah. It was like sitting down. I was like, "What's that?" He goes, "No, it's not for sale." And I went, "Can I play it anyway?" And I played it, and then my friend was like, "Come on, man! This is whatever." So he ended up selling it to me, and to me, I thought it was a whole lot of money. It was like $4,500.
Well, in 99, yeah.
Yeah.
That was actually still a pretty good deal for that time, though.
It's refin.
Yeah.
But everything else is stock, as far as I know. I don't think this bar is stock, but yeah.
Do you remember
I didn't put this on there.
Okay.
This is exactly what it looked like when I bought it.
Wow.
But yeah, I've used it a lot. It's a beautiful guitar.
It looks beautiful. Do you remember what wah you would have used on that?
No, I don't remember.
Maybe a Crybaby, or was it something?
It was probably a Crybaby. Yeah. That's defunct.
Do you remember what amp you would have used for that?
Yeah, I had a Super Reverb.
Wow.
So I had everything for Superbad was this guitar, a Super Reverb, and a pedal board that had some pedals on it. I can't remember what.
And was it like a mid-60s Super Reverb or something?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, 66, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
But today you just recreated those tones using something similar, but is amazing at being able to capture some of those plastic amps. Can you tell us what we're using today for all the guitar sounds?
Yeah, it's the Tonex. It's the Tonex with mostly Amalgam Audio is one of the contact providers for Tonex capture packs. So I've got some Marshall capture packs. I've got Tone King Imperial capture pack, which is something I've used both for the Sarah McLachlan and Frank Black tours. I use that cap pretty much solely.
What is the particular one we're hearing right now?
This is a Marshall Super Bass.
Super Bass.
Yeah.
So kind of like a big, clean Marshall-y thing. And then are you adding some dirt to this?
No, that's
it's all from there.
Yeah, it's all distortion from the from the capture.
Wow. It sounds incredible.
Yeah, and I've got just this is my always on pedal. This is a Vimoran Shanks.
Shanks, okay.
And for what you just heard, that was it, and a little bit of tiny bit of delay, a little bit of reverb.
Right, from the timeline and the source audio
Timeline and
Ventris.
source audio Ventris, yeah, which is fantastic. I've got these 3 pedals from source audio, which are fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually kicked in the boost.
Okay.
CO boost for
Okay.
the solo.
Awesome. Well, I should say that one of the sponsors of the show are our friends at IK Multimedia, and they're actually offering listeners the opportunity to get not only a Tonex, but the Tonex One, and they're going to be offering their 9 signature collections. They're going to have 9 signature collections that they're going to give away as well. So if you have one of these, you can get one of their tone kind of captures. They have their signature collections. They're going to give away 9 of those.
Oh, great.
Plus 1 Tonex pedal, plus 1 Tonex One. So lots of opportunities for people to win.
That's
some
nice.
free gear.
Yeah, I love it. I used it. It was my first time touring without an amp on stage.
Yeah.
I was told no amps on stage for Sarah's show, and I decided, well, I might as well just try it.
Yeah.
So Dave Kersner at IK Multimedia is a good friend. I've known him for a long, long time, and I contacted him because we'll send you a pedal, and if I had to search captures and capture packs to find what I wanted, and I rehearsed music in my computer in Pro Tools with the sounds that I've put together. And I have to say, first day of rehearsal, we plugged in, direct, boom.
Yeah.
I didn't have to adjust anything.
Yeah, it was all there.
Yeah, it was all there. And so to have that versatility, to take it over to Frank Black, which is completely different music,
right.
A whole different vibe. And it just worked perfectly. So, I'm a convert now. I thought I was going to really have a hard time.
Yeah, I think Frank Black especially is so organic, and like the when you listen to some of the stuff you've done with them, you would think that these would be these gigantic Marshalls or some sort of like tube amps, and here we are being able to capture it all in this digital format.
No one was more surprised than me, but I love this consistency from night to night.
Yeah.
It sounds the same every night. Doesn't matter what the venue.
Yeah.
The venue is or the size of it.
Yeah.
So I have really great in-ears by Fur Audio too.
Yeah.
I want to mention they're really fantastic, and it was just easy.
Well, this is then a great opportunity for folks to get a chance to get one of these for free again. Tonex pedal, Tonex One, giving away 9 of the signature series of the preset pack that you can get. All you need to do is follow Lyle on Instagram, follow Vertex Effects, follow IK Multimedia, and comment the word Tonex, and that will automatically enter you as a possible winner of these items. It's going to be multiple different people. I guess there's going to be, 11 possible winners.
Nice.
So pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Very cool.
So I want to get into another film that you worked on with Judd Apatow, which, as you remarked earlier, was the very first time you worked together, which was the 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Yeah.
So kind of going backwards a little bit in time, what do you remember about sort of what the directive was when Judd brought you on board, and like what he wanted musically to hear on 40-Year-Old Virgin? Just in general, we have a specific cue we're going to talk about as well, but I'm just kind of curious, overarching, what you remember about sort of coming on board and what was being asked of you musically.
Let's see, how do I put this? Let's see what you got, kid. Which was
trial by fire.
I'm paraphrasing. That wasn't what he said. It was very much, well, what do you think?
Yeah. And
so I would try things, and sometimes I'd get it right away. Sometimes I didn't get it right away, just depending on what he was looking for. And comedy is tough because you don't want to play funny music. You don't want to.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah. You
have to play subtext, or you have to play energy or something, but not funny sounding music. So it's really hard to describe the process, but it's just a feel. It's just a feeling.
Yeah.
You want to just get a feel for what the characters are going through with the story.
Do you feel like you instinctually know better now what to do when a director or somebody says something to you or a producer says something to you? Or do you feel like is it always like a new lookup table for each movie that you work on of like what they mean when they say X, you know? Like 'cause you have to sort of interpret like I want it to sound more ethereal or I want it to sound I don't know, more hard edge or like you have to what they mean by that may not be the same thing that you mean by those same words. Has that been hard to navigate?
It can be,
Yeah.
because some directors are very musical and some are not at all. So they don't. Some will not speak in musical terms. They will say, "Well, I'm not feeling a particular emotion, or it's too frantic, or it's too." But it's never musical. It's never music speak. It's more tonal.
Yeah.
In
make it sound more yellow, Lyle.
Yeah, that could be the difficult part is the figuring out what they really mean, and how I convert that to music.
Yeah,
in musical terms.
Is there any particular like one that you remember, like a really odd characterization that was given to you as like make it sound more like this, that just seemed like it was something that was very unusual, or like you would never think?
Could you make it an octave slower? No.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard that.
That'd be great.
I can't recall any one thing.
I know I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. I was just
that's
curious.
okay. No, it's all right. Yeah, I can't remember anything that was. Sometimes it's the danger could be someone not knowing what they want.
Yeah.
So they want to hear 10 different things or 15 different things for one cue.
Yeah.
So that can be pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
And often they'll just go back to the first thing.
Yeah.
Because they've never had to, it's all of a sudden having a job, all of a sudden you don't have any parameters. A director doesn't learn how to speak to musicians, or doesn't go through music school to learn how to communicate in musical terms. So it's more about the feeling. And that's what I would say. Well, what is it this music's making you feel? It's making me nervous, or it's making me think that the character is this or that they don't want. And so I have to go, okay, then no, maybe I just need to make this, take the tempo down, make it not as whatever it is stylistically. So there's a whole lot of guessing.
Yeah. Do you feel like you can get there faster now than you did 20 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
What do you think is sort of
more
like
experience working with directors? So you just kind of run the gamut. Okay, this is type A, this is type B. And so you use that experience to help you navigate through it.
And are there like certain instruments that you reach for? Like if a director or a producer is expressing an emotion, are there certain guitars that you're like, this one is more evocative of this? Or like is there sort of like go-tos that you have, guitar, instrument, or amp or pedal wise, when people give you certain adjectives of like when they describe something? Or is it
well, I don't even think of in terms of guitar at all. So if I'm starting a project, unless they say, yeah, we really want a rock score, my go-to is not the guitar, it's the keyboard.
Interesting.
Yeah, so there's scores I've done, they're not guitar oriented at all.
Really?
There might be some guitar in it, but I try to approach it more like a composer or a songwriter that's coming up with a sound. Like, for example, I think of a score as more like casting. Like who do I cast to make this sound, the sound of this movie? And it may be orchestral.
Yeah.
It might be 100% orchestral, or it may be a rock band, or it may be more modern, sort of classical type oriented stuff, or it just really runs the gamut. So the guitar is really secondary to my thought. It's not my go-to.
Interesting. And are there ever times when you come up with something and you decide that you're not the guitar player?
No. No, but I do. I have had other guitar players play along with me.
Yeah.
I did a TV show, and I had David Hidalgo play along with me from Los Lobos, and I had Val McLachlan play, and Andrew Sinowick, who's an amazing guitar player in LA. So I like working with other guitar players
Yeah.
a lot. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Because they don't do what I do, and I really love that.
Yeah.
Guitar players like, okay, it's that same old thing again,
Yeah.
But when I hear someone else play, it doesn't matter how complicated or how very simple. It's just the sound or the tone or the touch. It's like, oh man.
How important do you think it is to read in your job? Like, how critical is that?
I think it's important.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with orchestras and you're writing orchestral stuff, and you're on the stage and you're recording an orchestra and they're playing through your score, and if you can't read, and it's like, well, somewhere during those 2 minutes, someone out of the 65 people there made a mistake, but I don't know who it is. No, you need to say, okay, bard number 38. Second beat, first violins. I think that's written out wrong. It should be an A sharp, not an A natural. So it's really helpful to know that kind of stuff. Now, you don't have to be a great sight. I'm not a great sight reader. I can read, but I'm not great at sight reading.
Yeah.
There's guys in town that are much better than that.
But still, a skill that you think if somebody were compelled to get into doing this, they should have some competency.
I think so.
Yeah.
It definitely helps.
Yeah.
You
Well, I want to set up this cue for the 40-year-old virgin. And when we sort of chatted about this leading into the interview in kind of our pre-interview stage, you were saying, yeah, like this, I was kind of channeling like a Who thing.
Yes.
For the guitar part.
Yes.
Do you have a remembrance of like that being something that you felt like fit there, or you were led to that, or do you remember anything about kind of how that came to be?
No, in the case of the 40-year-old virgin, there was I don't remember any temp that guided me.
Yeah.
If there was, I just don't remember it.
Okay.
So I think I just had this idea.
Yeah.
Guys are out drinking, taking Steve Carell's character out.
Yep.
He's kind of a fish out of water. He's
right.
And I just thought it was out of control and it's kind of fun and, out of control. Keith Moon.
Yeah.
He's out of control and fun, so it's very oblique.
Yeah.
You just have these little synapses that kind of go from one place to another. Next thing you know, how did you get Keith Moon? I don't know. I was just thinking of fun and energy and the Who definitely, for me, does that.
Do you remember what guitar you might have used on that?
I don't. But I'm going to use an old guitar. Anyway, I don't remember what I used for that. I wasn't really thinking that much about all the detailed stuff. Being my first movie.
It sounds like a kind of a bit like a rock and roll amp, though. Like it could be a Marshall. It could be.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was my Marshall. This. Well, I don't know if you can see.
Well, we can get it in some B-roll. So
yeah. That's
it's this guy up here.
Yeah, it's this guy. It's a 69. Well, we can look at it later.
Yeah.
It's a 69 Marshall that was modified in the early 80s.
Okay.
In Sacramento, but by a guy who got the mod from someone in LA.
Okay.
So it's a Jose mod or one of those guys.
Is it a Super Lead 100 or
it's a Super Bass.
Super Bass, okay.
So I use that.
And does this have another like a master volume or again another gain?
Yeah, it's got pull gain, it's got all stuff on it.
Love it.
Yeah, it's an amazing sounding amp.
All right, and to represent that, we're going to use the Tonex again.
We're going to use the Tonex, with the Marshall
patch.
I think what's me say there? Oh, I got to move to it. So,
all right, well, we'll get set up for that. We'll come back with a new guitar and we'll hear it.
That sounds good.
Like a train round a bend, you ready?
Wow, it sounded incredible.
Thanks.
Love it.
Thank you.
E flat.
E flat.
Yeah. So what? Tell us about this guitar.
It's a 1957 Junior.
Wow.
And it's a rock and roll machine, man. This guitar just, it's amazing.
One pickup in the truth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had this. I think it might have been Eric at Eric's Guitar Shop here.
Eric Chaz.
Yes. suggested this. It's a compensated nut for intonation, and rest is the rest is history.
Where'd you find this guy?
I think I got it at Guitar Center.
Wow.
Yeah,
Here in LA?
in San Jose.
Oh, in San Jose.
Rich Longacre.
Rich Longacre, who then became part of Showcase.
That's
later on.
right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's
Wow,
a great
Rich
guitar.
Longacre. I know him well.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Shout out to Rich.
Yes. He's a good man.
Wow. So you've had this in a while.
Yeah, I've had it for a long time.
Wow. Sounds incredible. Well, what are you using today for strings for all these instruments?
Diodario.
In NYXLs and
Yeah, NYXLs, and they just make strings for everything that I would possibly think of.
are you a tens guy? Are you kind of nines, or what are you using?
Both 10s and 9s, and sometimes 9s to 46. It just depends on the guitar
Yeah.
and what I want to do with it. I did a jazz record, and it was this guitar, and I think I had 11s or even 12s on it.
Wow. Loungy or
Wound G, yeah. I didn't want to bend anything.
okay.
I wanted everything to be just nicely in tune, and that kind of thing. But it just depends.
Well, they're a huge supporter and fans of yours, but they're also supporters of the show, and they not only make incredible strings, as you know, but make cables and all sorts of accessories. And one that I've really been impressed by is they have this new thing called the battery power supply kit, this pedalboard battery kit.
Wow.
And basically you can power super power hungry pedals like a Tonex or a Neural DSP, Nano Cortex, fully off of this by itself. So a lot of times for the fill-in gigs that I'll do, I'll just take that. I don't have to worry about dirty power in the wall from some of these clubs.
In it?
It's just it's a single cell rechargeable battery, and it can go like 4 or 5 hours for something like a Tonex.
Oh, amazing.
Or something like that, and just power it the whole gig. You never have to plug it in the wall. So I just bring a guitar, a cable, the battery power supply pack, the pedal that I'm, the amp in a box, sort of pedal like the Nano Cortex or a Tonex, and I can do the whole gig with just that, and it's amazing.
I've got something to say.
Okay.
For any scenario, Diodario.
There it is. They're going to love that. They're going to love that. So anyway, that
You can use that to Diodario if you want to.
we may see that as a future campaign. I think it's wonderful. It's
There's so many good things they make. Yeah. Love the company.
Yeah, me too. And I use their coated strings. I'm a self-proclaimed string destroyer. I was born with a gift of very corrosive sweat. I won't even touch your guitars just for.
Seriously?
Well, no, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but also we just have so many guitars in like our studio that I don't want to be changing them all the time.
Yeah.
And so having the coated strings, they don't really sacrifice performance. There's some that are, you get the coated strings and it's like kind of like the string lasts a long time, but it's like dead its whole life. Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And theirs are I think have the best playability of any coated string I've run into.
Very consistent.
Yeah.
Really love them.
So I like that. But Lyle, I want to move into your work now as a session guitar player. We talked about your work doing composition for film, but we haven't talked at all about your other part of your career as a session musician. And one such artist that you worked with that I think is very notable is the great Todd Rundgren. And he had an album in the 80s that you worked on and a song called Can't Stop Running.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if you can sort of walk us through how you first got connected with Todd. And he had, letting sort of the cat out of the bag a little bit. He had done some producing with the band that you were in.
Yeah.
But he had been in this really experimental phase of his career kind of leading up to that. And this is kind of the first time he sort of came back to earth, was hiring session musicians and kind of acting more in a capacity that people had maybe recognized him a little closer. And can you tell us about sort of how this came to be, your work with Todd and working on this record?
Yeah, he produced Bourgeois Tagg's second and final record. Yo-Yo. Yeah. So we had hired Todd to produce us, and he liked us and asked us to be his backing band, outfitted with other people in the Bay Area, a few other people.
Randy Jackson,
Randy
Narda
Jackson,
Michael
yeah.
Walden, Vernon Ice Black.
Vernon Ice Black, and Narda came in to do some vocal.
Headdress or no headdress?
He led the choir for one of the songs. And so I was just completely beside myself because, oh my gosh, Todd Rundgren,
Yeah.
couldn't believe he was going to produce our band, and then to him ask us to be his backing band was just a huge thrill. And this particular song, one of the songs we did was called "Can't Stop Running." That it was interesting. Maybe that's not the right word. I was pretty blown away because there's a substantial solo feature in the song.
Starts with a solo, right?
Yeah, it starts with a little solo. And as far as I knew and know now, I don't think he's ever had a lead guitar player play on any of his songs or featured. Mm-hmm. Maybe he has, but maybe one of your readers or watchers can verify that he has. But not only was that, it's because he's a great guitar player.
Yeah. And
so he was giving me that space. And then it was Utopia, the reforming of Utopia. So it was a double whammy for me. Like, oh my God! So I got to play with now Utopia and do the solo. So I was a little nervous going into it. But I was just so inspired by the music. He wrote this music for the record that was to become Nearly Human. It's just every song is just incredible.
Yeah. It's kind of a sleeper album, I think, of his. Like, it's got a cult following of people, and this song, I think, is kind of the biggest song on the record. But it certainly commercially wasn't as big as some of the stuff that he had done, leading up to it. Was he different to work with as the artist as opposed to him producing you?
Yes.
Yeah. What would you say are like the biggest contrasts in sort of his personality, his workflow, his demands?
Well, I think when he's producing a band, he has a very strong vision about what it should be. And sometimes it just depends on who he's working with. Sometimes the band could be really good with that, and sometimes they can't be. I think it's no secret that XTC and it was like Oil and Water, or precise to more accurately, Andy Partridge and Todd were kind of at odds. Because, with Todd, it's like, you produce me, I'm going to produce you. I'm going to give you this is the reason you have me do it.
Yeah.
It's for my sensibilities.
Yeah.
And we were okay with that. We were on board with him. And so it was I just got the feeling that when he's producing, it's more like a kind of a job.
Yeah.
Like a supplemental thing, as opposed to when he's doing his own thing, where he doesn't have to worry about being diplomatic or dealing with people's feelings or any of that. It's just he's free to do exactly what he wants without having those other kinds of concerns. And so I just felt it was a little more fun and more free working with him on his own music than it was having him produce us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. And when, like, for a song like Can't Stop Running, was he at all sort of dictating what he wanted the guitar tone to be like, or like the lines that you played, or were you pretty free to be able to develop that on your own?
Well, all the songs on that record he had made demos of in his studio, his little bedroom studio in Sausalito where he lived at the time. So I recall on that song the couple of the lines were there, and I liked them, so I wanted to play them. But then, I took 10% of that and just did my own thing with it.
And he was fine with that.
Yeah, and the solo, I think I just did what I wanted to do. Yeah, I just think the first few interludes, I think they might be a little bit more informed as what I heard. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Do
you remember gear-wise what you used on that?
Yeah, on that particular song, I had it was a Hamer. I think it was a Chaparral guitar with Floyd Rose and Seymour Duncan pickups. And
like the hot stacks or that kind of stuff, like with the full covers on them?
No, I think I had the JBs maybe.
Okay, so humbucker.
Humbucker, yes, yeah. Yeah, they weren't stacks. They
Yeah,
weren't single coil stacks. There was a humbucker in the back. I think it was a JB or what's the one that's hotter than the PAF? I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, like a Distortion Plus or one
No, I can't remember. Anyway,
yeah.
it was that and Mesa Boogie Studio preamp.
Wow.
Yeah, I was pretty into Mesa Boogies.
And no power amp? Was it direct in?
Just direct into the board.
Okay.
And so we cut that song with the band was, in the control in the tracking room, and I was in the control room.
And did you use, like, there's definitely some processing going on there.
That was after the fact.
So there wasn't any rack stuff that you were like using?
No.
And that was just at Todd's discretion
Yes.
or the engineers?
Yeah, I think I might have told the engineer, can you give me a little bit of reverb or something?
Right.
And then however it was printed, or when it was mixed, Todd added whatever he wanted.
Got it.
To the mix.
Got it.
It's pretty wet. It's a little wet for my taste. Hearing it now,
Right.
back then it was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. Was that an overdub or was that like everybody in the room?
Everybody, yeah, that whole record. Actually, the two records I did with Todd, the first one was Nearly Human. It's no overdubs in the studio.
Okay.
And then the second record was called Second Wind, which was performed at the Palace of Fine Arts. So we did several nights, and so we set up like a recording studio on the stage.
Wow.
So it was like watching a play of a recording studio.
Wow.
With gobos and we were all sitting down and we had our whatever charts or cheat sheets or whatever and the microphones. And Todd said, no, so don't clap. I'll tell you when you can clap. But this is a recording session. It's not a concert.
Yeah.
And so that's how which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah.
It was a mobile recording facility.
Wow. So if you have somebody like Vernon Ice Black, who's like a pretty renowned like rhythm guitar player, especially, and
Great
played
player.
with Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston, and played on all these big hit songs, especially with Narda.
Yes.
How do you negotiate who takes what on a song like that, or did Todd already make that decision for you? At the casting?
Todd had made the decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's he like to work with in a studio, like Vernon? We've interviewed him separately.
Oh, he's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
He's just the best.
Yeah.
He's just one of those guys, 2 minutes, you're like, this guy's my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the way he plays, and he's just a gentle, just a great person.
Yeah. He's definitely he's friends with everyone he meets.
Absolutely.
Sort of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a lot of fun. He probably had that hacked up Strat that he had. It has all the buttons on it with all the. I think he said he had that guitar made by Gary Brower, who's a pretty renowned
he did my
San
work too.
Francisco-based
Sure, love
guitar
Gary.
tech. And Vernon has all these Duncan rail pickups, and then instead of selector switches like a 5-way, he has these push button switches so that he can get single coil or split out of or humbucker or split out of every pickup.
Oh, wow.
And then series parallel out of every pickup.
Whoa.
So he's got like 6 buttons that he can. It looks like an accordion almost, or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he probably used that because he said that was what he used on everything.
I don't remember. Yeah. I mean, I was just, kind of freaked out. Like having sex for the first time. Like, wasn't that bad. And it was longer, lasted longer.
Right. Yeah. This is a minute song. What about Randy Jackson? Was he there?
Not for that song, because that was Utopia. So that was Roger Powell, Chasm Sultan, and Willie Wilcox.
Okay.
So it was Utopia. And
Okay.
Todd, and I'm sure it was I think Brent might have been singing, Brent Bourgeois might have been singing on that one.
Okay.
He was either playing keyboards or singing
Okay.
for that entire record. And Michael Urbano, of course, and Larry Tagg, Bourgeois Tagg bandmates.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just fun, man. It was just the song's just so good.
Yeah, they are great. This is a really good song. Well, I want to get into playing it. What are we going to use guitar-wise to recreate
we're going
this?
to use a different guitar. I think I'm going to use my custom Telly from Fender. So I
Okay,
need to
use
switch.
that, and then Tonex, and then what are we going to set the Tonex to as far as amp sounds?
It's another Marshall.
Another Marshall.
Yeah,
All
another
right.
Marshall.
All right. Well, we'll get that set up. We'll get the music cued, and we'll play a little.
Awesome. Can I lift up? Can I lift up? Can I lift up?
All right. Can't Stop Running. I love the guitar tone. What did we have for everything, like for the processing sounds on this?
For that, we have the timeline. And it's
Is it a tape delay, D-tape?
yes, tape delay. And then I've got the Ventris for verb. I've got a little bit of the dome and the hall.
Beautiful.
Together, yeah.
Beautiful. But I'm noticing on this beautifully assembled pedal board by Dave at LA Sound Design, you also feature 2 stomp boxes from the great folks at Line 6, the HX Stomp and the HX1.
Yes.
Tell me about your sort of ongoing relationship with Line 6. You're very famously a user of the DL4, the big green delay.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about Line 6 and sort of your career and how it's sort of factored in to be kind of staple products in a lot of your rigs.
Yeah, I mean, from the get-go, they had incredible products. Starting with the Line 6 DL4, yeah, that was a staple. And
did you have like the purple one too, or the
yes,
blue one?
Yes, I had the purple one and the blue one, the whole line of them. And there was nothing like that, at least that I knew about at the time.
There's no Strymon if there's no Line 6. People forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. And they just keep getting better and more extensive. And in the case of this HX Stomp, what I wanted to be able to do is to find the least amount of stuff that did the most amount of things. And that's why the Line 6 stuff is just so great for that.
Your utility pedal, in essence.
Yeah. I have another board that has HX Stomp XL.
Right, which is like the longer
one,
switch.
Yeah, but it just has more. Mostly I just wanted to have more foot switches.
Yeah.
It kind of does the same thing, a lot of the same stuff. But yeah, just, not only is there so much flexibility, but I just think that a lot of the sounds are great. I don't use it for distortion, but I know those are really, I use it mostly for the swirly stuff, vibrato, Leslie, tremolo, and some couple wacky things in there, but still great delays, great, yeah.
And they have all their legacy stuff in there too, which is really cool. Like if you want what was in the DL4, you have the ability to be able to recall those patches, even in a contemporary, more sophisticated unit like this, which is really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, they pack it with so many features and pretty easy to get around.
How do you use the HX Stomp differently than you would the HX1? Because the HX1 is basically just one individual effect that exists of the many that you could use concurrently or simultaneously in the HX Stomp. How do you kind of differentiate use?
Well, I wanted one. I wanted to have a post amp effects, and I wanted pre-amp, like before the amp effects.
Yep.
I'm calling the Tonex an amp. It's my amp.
Yep.
So I wanted something. Now I know you can do that with some routing with the HX Stomp.
But you can't use it in stereo if you do that.
Yeah. So I wanted to have a mono pre and a stereo post, and I thought it was just the easiest way to do it is to have the HX1 in the pre and then the
actually I lied about that because I do see that it does have a stereo effect.
Yeah.
So
I think you can. There's definitely ways of routing it, but there was some other thing that it provided. I don't remember if it was an issue. I just remember thinking it's just going to be easier if I just have
path of least resistance.
I'll just have one thing. It's just a mono device that's separate, and I don't have to do the 4-cable method or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I did it. But it's versatile.
Beautiful. Well, and then the board is just absolutely gorgeous. We'll get some great shots of all of the cable superhighway that is the pedal board.
Yeah. Dave does immaculate work.
Absolutely. Well, I would love to move on to selfishly one of my favorite records that you played on. Being that I am from the Bay Area, this was a huge Bay Area band that in the 90s was just they had a cult following, and it's the band Jellyfish.
Yeah.
And I'm so curious how you got connected with these guys, because were you living in LA at this point already, or you were still in the Bay?
Yeah, that was a good 4 or 5 years before I moved to Los Angeles.
What year did you actually move here?
97.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So you were there then. You were there for this, and how did they? Were you just kind of like the session guy in the Bay Area that they called on, or how did they learn about you?
Well, Bourgeois Tagg, I guess you could say we were a big fish in a small pond.
But they were more Sacramento, right? Or
Yeah, but Bay Area, we did a lot of playing in,
Okay.
in San Francisco,
okay,
Santa Cruz,
Okay.
Cotati,
Oh,
Petaluma,
Cotati,
all those
yeah.
places, you know.
the end of the beginning.
Yeah, so we did it. We gigged a lot. That was a band that gigged a lot.
Yeah.
And Beatnik Beach was with Andy Sturmer and Roger Manning. They were in that band together. So they did a show opening for us at least once.
Okay.
So they were, if you were in a band and played in the Bay Area, you knew about Bourgeois Tagg.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
And I heard the first record and I said to myself, man, this great band from England.
It's Belly Button.
Belly Button.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a band from England.
Just because of the Beatles kind of sensibility.
Yeah, it just didn't sound like guys from the East Bay. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't sound like
It almost kind of had like a precursor to like an Oasis almost in some aspects.
Yeah, actually, totally.
Yeah.
And I found out, no, it's these guys that were in that band that opened up for you guys. Went, oh my God.
Yeah.
And so somehow I ran across their manager or somebody connected to them. And I ended up communicating with Roger. I think it was through their manager. And I say, if you guys ever need a guitar player, man, I'd love you. I love your band.
Yeah.
And that's basically how it happened.
Wow.
They just called me for.
And so were they already in the process of making the next record, or
They were doing demos.
Okay.
So they were recording demos up at Andy Sturmer's girlfriend at the time had a place up in Cotati.
Okay.
And so they drove up there with my guitar. And
From San Jose, or were you living in San Francisco? Or
at that time, I was living in Tiburon.
Tiburon. Okay, so not that far then from Tiburon.
No.
Okay.
In Tiburon. And that's how it happened. So I played on the demos, all the demos
Wow.
that were to become the record. And the record is basically just about exact copies of the demos.
Where did you guys actually end up recording the record? Do you remember?
Schnee Studio
Okay.
on Lancashire here in LA.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't want to use the plant or any of the local ones, huh?
No, because they had Albie Glutton produce.
Okay.
Who did did a lot of BG records, the big ones.
Yeah.
And then Jack Joseph Puig engineering.
Sure.
I think they may have done the first record too. I
How
don't
big?
know.
How big was he at that point?
Who?
Big.
Oh, big.
Or still big? He was already
Oh
big.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He
Right.
was the guy.
Yeah.
One of the guys. Absolutely.
I always wanted to ask somebody in the band this question. What do you attribute to the fact that they never became huge? Because like the songs just sound like
Yeah.
$1 million. Like they still, and they're very timeless. You listen to them now, they sound incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think it was that like was the stop? Like what was the barrier that the hurdle they just couldn't get over? Or was it the public just couldn't tolerate it, or like or was it the record labels? Like what do you think was the issue?
Record labels and radio, because that was still big at the time.
Was it too sophisticated for them?
I think it was. It was a very big push for Nirvana and Soundgarden, and that was the sound. That was the sound. The grunge stuff was huge. Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
That was the big movement.
Right.
When you think about it, and they were completely not anywhere near that at all.
Yeah.
So I think for me, in my view, is that they were at the wrong time.
Yeah.
I think they'd come out later.
Right, because
Or 20 years earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have happened for them. But I just think that they were just too different.
Yeah.
But like you said, the music and the songs are just undeniable. They're so good. You definitely can do Beach Boys and your Queen. But what they did was make really good songs too, like songs that you could play with acoustic guitar or piano and sing them. Yeah. And they would still be great songs. To me, that's the marking of a great song. So I think for them it was just timing, and maybe the label just not doing enough or not believing in them enough to work them more than they did.
Yeah.
because our record cost a whole lot of money. They probably spent a whole lot of money making that record, and it was like, hey, we're already into this thing for, I don't know, $500,000 or whatever it was, and so they're only going to go, it's their second record. Usually after the second record, you don't get much of a chance.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I listen to it, obviously there's tons of layers. I think that's kind of a known thing about people who sort of studied this record, that it's incredibly thoroughly layered, and it's so well thought out, and all these different parts just kind of come together in this sort of perfect harmony. Was there a feeling when you were recording that album with them of sort of like how belabored all the tracking was, or did it feel sensible at the time, or did it seem like it was overkill? Like, how did it feel to you?
Well, being that we were copying the demos pretty much verbatim.
Yeah.
A lot of the work was just getting the sounds.
Okay.
From what I recall, they spent at least 1, maybe 2 days just getting drum sounds.
Wow.
Which is
just translating the demo to the studio.
Yeah, just getting the mics and the different drums set up and getting them tuned right. I think they wanted to get them all ready.
Right.
So all that stuff took a lot of time.
Was it a lot of overdubs for you on guitars, or was it just reproducing the layers?
We did some tracking, some basic tracking, and half and half from what I recall.
And were they having you use kind of like classic kind of British stuff, like Beatles, like Vox AC30s?
Absolutely. Well, they rented. It was an incredible shop on Sunset called Guitars R Us.
Yeah.
Albert, I can't remember his last name, was the proprietor there.
Yeah.
Proprietor.
They're like vintage stuff, though.
All vintage stuff. So we had a 60s guitars, 50s and 60s guitars, and amps. And there was one room set up with, I don't know, there might have been 15 amps in there. Wow. All set up and mic'd up.
Wow.
I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like amazing.
Wow.
So a lot of stuff had been set up, and then it was just a matter of just playing the songs and recreating the parts.
Yeah. And what was the dynamic like between like Andy and Roger? Were they kind of elevating each other? Would you feel like in terms of like their songwriting, their craft, their sensibilities, or was it more they were sort of fighting to kind of for ideas? Like, what was the dynamic there like?
Well, by the time I was involved, they already had a lot of the demo stuff recorded, so
you didn't get to see that.
So I didn't really get to see any of that at all. I know Andy was all lyrics, 100%.
Yeah, and
probably melodies as well.
Okay,
for the most part, and Roger's more like here's how we get the sounds.
Okay,
it's these keyboards, it's this vintage. I think he was a little more on the technical side of things.
So you knew about like the right gear to kind of.
Yeah, okay. I think Roger was more plugged into that that area of it. But
and would they tell you like when you had all this rental gear? Did they say like, okay, we want you to use this, this, and this, or did you kind of get to say, well, I think on the demo I used.
On a demo, demo didn't matter because I just had one guitar, and it was probably Rockman or something. I can't remember.
Really? Okay.
It might have been. It was recorded on those 8-track cassettes.
Yep.
Porta Studio or Porta Studio 5 or something.
Yeah.
I think it's like let's try this old Vox. Let's try this Vox sample, this old Gibson, and I think Jack Quigg was pretty well plugged into that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And me having experience with amps, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's try this amp, and we try a couple different things.
That's amazing.
And so the playing part of it was really the easiest part, because a lot of it I was playing exactly what I played.
Yeah.
And I think even on this song, Glutton and Sympathy, that we're about to play, from what I recall, I'm just improvising the little interstitial riffs in between the lyrics and the solo. I'm pretty sure that's all me.
Yeah.
In terms of what to play, the notes. So I just redid that in the studio.
So for that, we're going to use your vintage ES335.
Yes.
And then are we going to call up some sort of Voxy thing, or what are we going to do for amp sounds?
I think for that I have, what do we have? Yeah, I'm actually using Tone King Imperial.
Okay.
It's one of the captures I really like a lot.
Kind of more of a Fendery sound.
It's like a Tone King Imperial, actually. This amp hiding behind this guitar here.
Great amps.
Really great sounding amp, and I used it a lot with Sarah and with Frank Black. That capture pack's Amalgam Audio. Highly recommend his captures. He's does really fantastic work.
We'll make sure that that's in the description for people who want to check that out.
Yeah.
Let's change up guitars. We'll get it queued up and play it.
In the breathless hush of 4 a.m. In the dark sits a sad cliche, cloaked in the navy blue of slowly fading stars. Tell me how this came to be. Sleeplessness talk to me. She'd say over and over again. Fumbling through a cut glass vase, passing lipstick, cotton spools, burning jealous pictures of marriages, of friends. You never asked to be the glutton of sympathy, she says over and over that this is the end. 'Cause I see it in your eyes, what you don't know. Time to let go. I see it in your eyes. There is so much more out there to be known. Such mournful words on this white snow vacant page. All the lessons that she learns, she packs away. Will you never cease to be the glutton of sympathy? She writes over and over again. That's when I see it in your eyes, what you don't know. Time to let go. See it in your eyes. There is so much more out there to be known. Indecision, won't you ever make up your mind? 'Cause tomorrow we'll see if you've earned your fill of sympathy. Will you never cease to be the glutton of sympathy? Oh, don't you know the stars are all fading? Let the sunshine capture the sparkle of your smile.
Damn, I love that song. It's
me
so
too.
good.
Me too, man. I'm just as big of a fan. I just got to play on it.
Yeah, I remember listening to a lot as a kid and just being heartbroken there wasn't more, you know. It was and I never did get to see him in concert. I was kind of too young. Yeah. So, but I've got, luckily YouTube is here and we can watch some, footage, and it was, they seemed to be pretty tight live, I had to say, I saw it was incredible
live.
Yeah, but the guitar tone, boy, I just love all like the triad stuff, and then you kind of throw in like some of those Keith Richards kind of hammer on things, you know.
Yeah. A good dose of Badfinger in there, you know. It's that whole style. You know,
yeah, but it's there's a whole strategy to that, you know, and understanding how to play behind in the right way at the right parts, and then just where to put in all the triads, and
yeah,
you know, it's so tastefully done, Lyle. It's
thank
really
you,
beautiful.
Thank you. You know, when you have a song like that, you just you rise to the occasion. You know, if you have to, it inspires the best out of you. You know, to play tennis with such a great tennis player. You know, you just you want to do your best and honor the song the best you can.
Right. Well, you put plenty of your own topspin on that one, and
thanks.
Did you used a real Leslie on this for that sound? What did we use to recreate that? Was that the line 6 again here?
Yeah, that was the HX Stomp.
Wow.
Yep.
And did they tell you even on the demo that they wanted a Leslie there, or was that something that was sort of added in the session, or do you remember?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
You know, I think I might have said, you know, it's a good Leslie. I think the Leslie would sound really nice.
Yeah. What would George Harrison do right here?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. That's lovely. Well, I wanted to point out, people may notice that we have this lovely instrument cable that's plugged into Lyle's guitar, and it happens to say Mogami on it. It has this beautiful Neutrik Liechtenstein-made 1/4-inch plug. And you'll also notice that his entire pedal board is artistically wired by the great Dave Phillips with all Mogami cable. And Mogami also happens to be one of the sponsors of the show. And Mogami has kindly offered to give away 5 instrument leads, 10-foot leads, any orientation that you want, straight to straight or straight to right, 10-foot leads. All you have to do, follow Lyle Workman, follow Vertex Effects, follow Mogami, and comment the word Mogami on any of the social media posts that we'll do in promotion of this video. That automatically enters you to win. We will choose a winner 2 weeks after the video goes live.
And be a good person.
And be a good person. Lyle is watching. He's gonna weigh in on your behavior.
Yes.
And if it's not good, you're out. Yeah.
We'll come and take those cables back from you. We'll be checking on
yeah, and good luck trying to play an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar acoustically. That was so great, Lyle. Thank you for recreating that for me.
Sure, my pleasure.
It feels like I'm there in the session with you, as close as I can get.
It's fun to play the song.
I want to move to another aspect of your career that we've talked about a little bit already with Todd Rundgren, but is your work as a band member of other notable bands, and in particular the Bourgeois Tagg era.
Yeah.
And these guys, they were from Sacramento originally, is that right?
Brad Bourgeois and Larry Tagg were from Texas.
They're from Texas.
Yes.
But they formed in Texas, or they formed?
No, they formed a band called Uncle Rainbow there.
Okay.
And moved out to California, into the Bay Area, into San Jose.
Okay.
South Bay, and they were playing, the Smoky Mountain and the Bodega and these clubs in Campbell. That's how I got to know them.
Wow.
Because they would play there. Everyone would go see, because they were the best band in the.
You would never think guys would want to come from Texas to San Jose of all
I really
places.
don't know why. I don't know how that happened. I can't remember. I'm sure we talked about it.
Or they were just listening to a lot of Dionne Warwick at the time.
Yeah, they knew the way to San Jose.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So they were the best band in town. You were from San Jose, and how did you kind of like throw your name in the hat sort of thing, or did they hear you play, or how did that work?
Yeah, they heard me play because I was in a band, a 3-piece band called Chronix. That's with a K and an X. Chronix.
Foreshadowing your
three-piece
hip hop influences.
Yeah, the Chronix.
Yeah,
and we played the Police covers, and then we played our own originals and whatnot. But so we played the same clubs that they played, particularly in the Campbell area. So there was 3 pretty hot clubs at the time, and so you would go and see the good bands were playing, and vice versa, and that's you get to know the community there of players and bands.
Yeah.
So they were familiar with me, and they just contacted me, and that was it.
Yeah, and so when in the album we're going to be talking about specifically here is Yo-Yo. When when you found out that you were going to be produced by Todd Rundgren, or was that already known at the time that you?
That was our second record.
Okay, so it was your second record.
Yeah.
But, so you were in the band fully at this point.
Oh
then?
yeah.
And so did you guys seek out Todd, or did Todd come to
Yes.
you? Okay.
We sought him.
Okay.
He had done either the album before us or 2 albums before us, XTC Skylarking.
Yeah.
So that was big for us.
Right.
We thought that was a great record, and we heard he lived in the Bay Area, so it was like even better. So
Yeah.
so that was great. Even though we did go to Woodstock to record our basic tracks.
Really?
Yeah,
At his request or yours?
his request.
Really?
We did basic tracking in his studio. Yeah,
Wow.
and it did overdubs here.
Okay.
Not here, but in San Francisco and Sausalito.
And did you do it at the plant, or where did you guys do it?
I think so. I think it was the plant.
Yeah.
We might have done some at Studio D
Okay.
in Sausalito.
Nothing at Fantasy.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about like this record or this song, you know, I don't mind at all. Like it has a lot of Beatles sort of sound to it as well. Like, you know,
Yeah.
even though we mentioned Jellyfish, there's some semblance there. Was that baked in, or was that something that Todd was kind of pushing you guys toward in terms of production and stuff like that?
That song was pretty realized before we started working with Todd. It started out as just a little thing I put on a cassette tape for ideas to hand to Brent and or Larry.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but mostly like funk type stuff.
So you wrote this?
I wrote the
music.
most of the music.
Okay.
And then Brent wrote like a little part of it.
Yeah.
And all the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, I might have come out with the title just as I was humming something.
Okay.
I said a melody,
Okay.
but Brent really put the flesh on it.
Okay. So you were kind of more the form, the structure, and then he kind of came in and did the lyrics, offered some supplementary.
Yeah, a little part of the music and the lyrics, and it became a song. You know?
Yeah.
So and then we worked on the string arrangement together, Brent and I.
Was it a 12-string acoustic that you were using on that, or
No, it was a acoustic, but then I doubled it with electric.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so
that's why it kind of has that. You know, like it either to me it was like either like was this a Rickenbacker, was this acoustic? Like I couldn't tell on the record.
Yeah. I think it starts with acoustic, and then when the band comes in, it's the drum X section there.
Yeah.
It doubles with electric.
And was that kind of your decision, your sensibility there that would be how it would go, or did you try some different variations?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, usually guitar stuff was all in my domain.
Okay.
So let's double this with electric.
Yeah.
I do remember Todd go, why are we doubling it with electric? And I was like, I didn't really have an answer. Because we're going to do it that way?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
How old would you have been at this time?
30 maybe?
Okay.
Maybe 30.
And Todd would have been what? In his,
So Todd was 39 at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he's about 10 years older than you guys.
Maybe I was. Maybe
Well, 'cause
I might have been 29.
So 87,
29 or
87. So you were in, but probably whatever was recorded
Yeah.
a few years before that.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
Todd was, I think, 39 at the time.
Okay.
Because I remember his 40th birthday party. He had a 40th birthday party and invited us.
Okay.
So I remember that. And it was around the time we were working with him.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, the other thing I thought was really interesting about this when I was researching it. I've obviously heard this song before, but I didn't know that there was a music video that was associated with it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a bit of a story there in terms of the sort of the music video director and David Fincher and what he went on to do.
Yeah, David Fincher. Yeah.
How did you guys? Was he just like somebody that was available? Like obviously, he would have had no idea he would have gone on to be.
It was our management. We were managed by Bill Graham.
Okay.
Bill Graham Presents. So he was David Fincher was a hot video director. He
Right.
done, staying in, I don't know, some really big ones.
Yeah.
But I do remember that there was some new technology they wanted to try.
Yeah. It definitely was avant-garde, or like for the time.
Yeah, for the time. And it was like $80,000 of technology we're getting for free or something like that. And we look at it now, you go, really?
But you do make several appearances in the music video.
Yeah, I'm in there, Yeah, a little bit.
We'll show a little clip of it so people can see that you peeking through at various points.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But he was great. David Fincher was great.
And it probably had no sense then that he'd be going to make the Social Network and Fight Club and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no, he's he had a lot of poise for someone as young as he was. He was, I think, probably in his maybe mid to late 20s at the time.
So pretty young guy. And,
Yeah.
And music videos at that time were kind of like a big deal, though, right? Like
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, you had to have a music video, on MTV. That was huge.
Yeah. Do you remember the record label or say anything to you guys like, you guys better get this together, like it needs to be good, or what was kind of how much of it was the ball was in your court versus the label?
Well, I think at that time it was if you had a record deal and you had a single, you had to have a video.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just part and parcel of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So we just who's going to be doing our videos? You just knew that that was coming next if they were going to release a single.
Yeah.
It was just a given.
Yeah, they
at
just
that
had
time.
to do it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to kind of look back at it and see it's all in black and white, isn't it? Or some of it's in black and white.
No.
Maybe I'm misremembering, or maybe the copy that I saw is just a poorly exported version.
We did another video that was in black and white or partial black and white.
Yeah,
from what I recall.
Yeah,
might be that.
But
one.
not by David Fincher then.
No.
Yeah, well then I either have it mixed up or the one I watched was bad. But I remember the song vividly, and I always thought, oh, this had to be. I was certain you were going to say it was a Rickenbacker or like some other sort of 12 string. So it's cool to know that it was doubled.
Yeah, just electric guitar, electric and acoustic guitar.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm wondering if we can pull up the track, get to hear a little bit of it. Are we going to do a guitar change here, presumably?
Yeah.
What are we going to use for that?
Well, I'm just going to use this Telecaster. I can't remember what I used for electric.
What about for acoustic? Do you remember what you used?
I think I just used my Ovation.
Ovation.
An Ovation guitar.
You fell victim to it too, huh?
No, I had a thing with Ovation and Hamer. I think they were connected at the time.
Okay.
Ovation and Hamer, from what I recall.
What was your thoughts on Ovation at that time? I always talk to people about it.
This is before I knew what a really great acoustic guitar was. Right. So I didn't have a really great vintage thing. That came later. Yeah. Now I've got Martins and Gibsons.
Yeah.
Things like that. But
so no reason to use the Ovation now?
No.
Unless you're doing like a Renaissance fair, they look like they'd fit in,
I haven't even played an Ovation. I mean, I don't know what I would think of it now, but I just kind of got off of it once.
They had huge endorsees, though. They had like Glenn Campbell and Luther and all these folks were using it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was definitely more of that too. It was more in the water Ovations, but it was a good guitar. It was a nice. I had a couple really nice ones, and once I heard an old Martin, I was like, oh wow, okay, this is. I like this more.
Yeah, right.
For purely acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
I think also Ovation that they were early with electric, being able to plug it in.
They figured out sort of like the preamps on board and all that stuff, and then
so it was good for live, So I would use it when we played live.
And the feedback stuff, I think they really marketed it as like not feeding back.
Yeah, it definitely served me well at the time.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't want to badmouth them at all.
I'm being hard on them just because I always felt like they looked. So they were very unique at the time that they came out.
The weird roundback,
But apparently great to their artists. Every artist that I ever talked to that worked with them, they always said they were amazing.
They were great. And I had a couple, I had one particular one. I think they made special ones each year, like the 87.
Yeah.
Really nice appointments and fantastic, really well made guitar.
Yeah.
And again, playing it live, just plugging it in and having a good sound. Yeah.
Yeah, they were early to that game. I think Taylor kind of like advanced it,
big time.
But like they were kind of the first to really do it as a live thing.
Yeah. I think so.
One thing I should also mention is that our friends over at Source Audio, who we can see are represented well here on the board between the Ventris and the EQ2 and the Zeo, are going to be giving away a Ventris, an EQ2, and a Zeo to 3 lucky viewers of the video. And all they need to do, Lyle, if you can believe it, all they need to do is follow Lyle Workman on Instagram, follow Source Audio, follow Vertex Effects, comment, that is, the word Source Audio on any of the promotional teasers that we put out promoting this video. Type that in the comments. That automatically enters you as one of the possible winners. We'll ship these directly to your door. No charges or fees. Worldwide application. So please do enjoy that. And let's now
Right.
take it back to
Nice.
a little bit more of I Don't Mind at All.
Sure.
It's getting so you never know when things are better left alone. But I don't know, I don't mind at all. It's important to me that I don't see you laughing at me. But I'm smart enough to know that I have to let you go. That I don't mind at all. Sentimental tears will get you as far as you might think they will. But I don't know, I don't mind at all. Misery loves company, but she will never foot the bill. But I don't know, I don't mind at all. It's important to me that I don't see you laughing at me. But I'm smart enough to know that I have to let you go. And I don't mind at all. Several years ago I said goodbye to my own sanity. But I don't know, I don't know, I don't mind at all.
Well, I want to move back to Frank Black,
Sure.
and the Catholics.
Yeah.
And I think that it's such a. I feel like people who know about this are just like huge fans, and people are gonna about to have their mind blown is because the music is like so raw and just like
Yeah.
great. It's just like great rock and roll
Yeah.
music. Were you a fan of the Pixies in his
I
work
was.
there?
I wasn't as familiar with their stuff as I was with his first solo record.
Okay.
It's labeled Frank Black.
Yeah.
That really blew my mind.
Yeah.
Then Michael Urbano from Bourgeois Tagg turned me onto that record, and
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Do you have any sense of like, was his reasoning for having this solo career, was it just to do something different? I mean, obviously the Pixies were wildly successful. Did he just want something different?
I think he has a kind of a personal thing going on.
Yeah.
Personality rub with someone in the band.
And okay,
It was time.
just
For him
time
to just go off and do his own thing
Yeah.
for a while,
yeah. And do you remember how you were first introduced to him? As far as
Yeah.
how that worked?
Well, this was interesting because being an endorsee of Hamer Guitars, I told Joe Danzig
Yeah.
of Hamer, man, I love this record, this Frank Black record. Turned him onto it. He had moved to Marin County, so he was living in Ross at the time.
Wow.
Yeah. So he lived nearby. And he called me one day and says, hey, that guy Frank Black's going to be in Marin County. He's part of a compilation record. Otis Blackwell was a songwriter that wrote like Return to Sender for
Yeah,
Elvis
yeah.
and a bunch of other big hits. And so this Nashville producer, John Tiven, put these people together to do covers of Otis Blackwell. And so one of the songs was going to be recorded at Johnny Cola's studio from Huey Lewis and the News, at his studio. And so Joel was telling me, I go, do you need another guitar player? Or, I'd love to meet this guy, man. He's amazing. I'd love maybe play with him someday. Because, well, let me check with John, the producer. And Joel told him, this guy's, he's not just he's a musician, and he's not going to embarrass us if he's in the session. So he can come to the session. So I went to the session, and there was his real name's Charles,
Yeah.
His Christian name.
Yeah.
Birthright name or birth. It's on his birth certificate.
Yeah.
Charles Thompson. So he was there. And at one point, there was some background vocals, and John said, "Hey, do you sing?" I go, "Yeah, I sing." He goes, "You want to do some background vocals with Charles?" I'm okay. So Charles and I are in the tracking room, and Charles says, "Hey, so John and Joe to me are like, quite a guitar player," and I went, "Yeah, play." And he goes, "What are you doing in September?" And I went, "Playing with you." And he goes, "Are you going to be in LA by any chance in September?" And I'm thinking to myself, "No." And I said, "Yes." He goes, "Oh, here's my number, and give me a call when you're in town, and maybe we can do some playing." And so I called my friend Todd Panos, a great drummer who we toured with in Jude Cole's band, and said, "Hey, can I sleep on your couch? I'm trying to get this gig with Frank Black." And so that's how it happened. I drove down to Los Angeles and slept on Toss's couch. I left messages for Frank Black, and then he called back, and that's how it happened.
How long was that waiting period?
Between the time that
you got down there, you left messages.
A couple days.
Okay, so it was a little bit of a gamble then.
A little bit of a gamble.
Yeah,
but you got to go for it, man.
Yeah,
it's like if you want to be a surfer, you got to be at the beach. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're waiting for the perfect wave. Can't be doing it inland. You got to be there.
Right.
So I just hung out for a few days. He called me back. We got together at his house in West Hills at the time, and played through some of his songs, the new songs he was recording, to record. And he had these chord charts, and I just played along with him. He goes, "Wow, you sound great. How about you want to come and do some overdubs?" And that's how I got the job.
Okay.
And that lasted for about 5 years.
Wow.
Records and tours.
So you were one of the Catholics.
One of the Catholics. And then just last year, we did a 30-year anniversary of that first record we played.
Yeah.
I played on, called Teenager of the Year.
Yeah.
Which was in blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. We did 2 nights at the Warfield.
Yeah, I guess I missed you guys.
Oh, man.
How many years ago was it that you did these? This was how many years ago that you did the reunion?
Last year.
Yeah, it's probably knee deep in bottles and all that stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Yeah. yeah.
There's definitely like a year and a half where I feel like I didn't go to like any concerts, and now I'm making up for lost time.
Yeah. Actually, no, it was this year.
It was this year. Okay.
Yeah, we started in February.
Okay. Well, then it's totally.
Yeah, you were in Babyland. Yeah.
Well, one thing that I'm curious about with Frank Black is he's kind of known to be like no overdubs, and he records to tape still, doesn't he? Or at least in that time.
Yeah, we did one record that was live to multi-track, and then we did another record. This is after Teenage Review. That was full regular basic tracking and then overdubs.
Yeah.
And the next record was called Cult Array, which was no overdubs, but to multi-track.
Right.
And then the next record was called Frank Black and the Catholics.
Right.
And that was all recorded direct to 2-track.
Yeah. So that's the one that Solid Gold is on.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was no overdubs. That was single take, one guitar, no layers.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the pressure difference in those sorts of situations, or is it feel freeing or liberating to you to just not have to worry about it?
Well, I think as long as you have enough rehearsal, or know the song, there's really nothing to be nervous about. If you're prepared, it's all about preparation, I think.
So, what kind of preparation would he give you in advance of a recording something like that? What would you have access to?
Well, by then we'd already done 3 records and 3 tours.
Yeah.
So that was 2.5 years in or so, So there was a lot of familiarity with his music and his whole thing, his vibe and his style. And we rehearsed. We had lots of rehearsal. And so we went in prepared. We knew the material.
So then it must have been pretty quick then to get everything down if you guys were already pretty familiar.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have cheat sheets or I didn't charts or anything like that. I mean, I knew the song, so I could just freely play.
Yeah.
It was at Sound City. We did.
All right.
We did a couple records there. And I remember I was in the room that's kind of off to the side of there's the big open room, and then there's like a little aisle, like a little hallway kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then another room, and so I was shut in that room with my loud dual rectifier and my matchless DC-30.
Wow.
Those are the 2 amps I had.
Was
at
it
the time.
stereo or was it just mono or
Sometimes I would run them together.
just as like a split mono thing?
Yeah, split mono.
Yeah. And what were you using? It was all the distortion coming from the amps, or were you using?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no distortion boxes. I was all about amp distortion.
And
Still am, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even here, it's like the ratio of distortion pedals is sort of inverted for most pedal boards. Very few distortion, lots of, effect.
One distortion and one overdrive. I just wanted to have something in case I used this board for something else. And it was just going into an amp.
Yeah.
But yeah, mostly it's amp distortion I favor.
And do you remember what guitar you would have used for that? For Solid Gold
For
in particular?
the song Solid Gold, I used the
Junior?
57 Junior.
Wow.
Yeah.
And was it mostly the Junior, or was there, because I feel like there's some where I feel like maybe it's not like a Strat or something like
I
that.
had a Telly.
Oh, Telly, okay.
Yeah, Telly with EMGs in it.
Wow.
I know. But that sound like a Telly gel.
Yeah.
I should be sent to Telly gel for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was because there was a lot of rock. It was a lot of distorted, a lot of loud amps. I needed something that was just clean and quiet.
Yeah.
I wasn't so discerning about making it sound. Oh, it's got to be like whatever. Vintagey. I just like the the Telecaster, the everything about it.
Yeah.
The way it sits on your lap, and the control, where the controls are for swells and all that stuff. I really like, but I wanted some rock too. So actually, it was a Telly EMGs, and later I put some Bardens in it.
Okay.
In the 69.
Okay.
But
Beautiful.
that's what I used at the time.
Well, I'm wondering if we can call up some of the
I also had a Telly made by Hamer that I used.
Okay.
Too. Basically a Telly style guitar.
Yeah. They make great stuff. Joel.
Amazing. Oh, great guitars.
Well, I'm wondering if we can get the song queued up and do a guitar change and hear a little of Solid Gold, and just doing a one pass through just as you would have on the record.
Sure. Love to.
All right.
Never since I met you did you let me in. Even when I let you, you wouldn't call me friend. Pedal to the metal, mister, it's a sin getting so down. I'd give you solid gold just for your finger. You get the medal for getting so down. Getting so down. I guess you didn't see that sky when the clouds are turned to ours. I was glad when you couldn't hear my nervous laughter, when you shouted and you cursed. And I'm saying I understand. Lord knows who can understand. Life can be an awful land, and yours leave the words. Here she comes now in my mirror. Oh, I know how she is a terror. Now I see her in her mirror wearing a frown. I give you solid gold just for your finger. You get the medal for scariest frown.
clouds are turned to eyes. I was glad when you couldn't hear my nervous laughter when you shouted at me first. Fourthly, you're suspect. Thirdly, you don't get. Secondly, you got no respect. Finally, you're not the first.
Love that.
Cool.
Yeah, it's got some great energy in that solo.
Oh, so much fun.
Do you remember why you used for that?
I don't.
To Crybaby, probably.
Yeah, probably as a crybaby.
You weren't into the sexy boutique wahs of the time, because that was like late '90s, right? '99,
Yeah,
maybe.
I never really got into.
Maybe there was full tone wah at that point as like a sexy boutique alternative, but yeah.
I never went too crazy into that deep details about certain things. But yeah, I mean, I want amps to sound a certain way and guitars to play a certain way, but this little thing does this little thing, you know. Especially something that's just so like,
Yeah.
like for that music. I don't know. This is a Hendrix. This is a Dunlop.
Yeah, this one sounds great.
Hendrix wah. I've got many Dunlop projects, but they think it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic, especially for this thing. It
Yeah.
fits the bill for sure.
Yeah.
Do you remember with Frank? I had heard that this was recorded and not really. It was like sat on for like over a year and a half or something like that before it released. Do you have any recollection of that?
I don't.
Yeah, that like basically you had finished this record and it ended up getting put out as like one of the first kind of major releases on digital, as opposed to like going the like kind of like predating iTunes and that stuff. It was kind
I
of
didn't
like
know that.
early on to that game.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah. I don't know if there was any recollection of like why it would have been postponed like that, but
Yeah, that would have been all in his camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't recall.
and you mentioned to me offline that the reason that was called the Catholics is because the overwhelming majority of the band were all raised as Catholics.
Prior to that record, we had done the first Frank Black record, and it was a different band that was assembled for a subsequent tour after Teenager of the Year. We first started with the original band, and then another band was put together. Luckily, I was in the second reiteration of the band, and we were just on the bus. And we were just talking about growing up, and we realized that the four of us grew up, catechism and Catholic, and church on Sundays, and so studies after school.
Yeah.
And so we became Frank Black and the Catholics.
How about that?
Yeah.
I always thought it was like something that, he was trying to be ironic or something like
I know,
that.
it sounds like it, but it also sounds kind of badass.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it was real. I don't know how many of us were practicing Catholics.
Right.
I'm not a practicing Catholic by any means. But yeah.
Yeah. What do you think your biggest takeaway was in terms of like learning from being in that band and working with Frank? Is there anything poignant that you can say, like, kind of you took with you in your musical journey or professionally afterwards?
The thing that was distinctive about, I'm not sure this is exactly answering your question. It just, there was a lot of room for me to interpret his music and play the way I play. And a lot of space for solos and really creative playing because the music was that way. The music was very interesting, and left turns here and there, and sophisticated, but not trying to be sophisticated. You're not trying to be progressive or anything. But there were a lot of elements of that music in there that allowed me to go in that direction, in that playing. So mostly what I took away is just the joy of having that. It's hard to play that music and then do anything else after that, because everything else has more structure, has more. That's really, we don't want solos all the time, or that's too out there. But nothing was really too out there for him, and I definitely took the ball around with it in the records that I did. And when we revisited this music just early this year, it was so much joy to play that, because I forgot how much freedom I had to just go off. I was going off on pretty much every song.
We gave you 2 solos on that song.
Yeah. So it was just really, really fun.
Did you revive the dual rectifier on the tour, or was it still the Tonex?
I used this, man.
Wow.
I used this. This was the pedalboard I used.
Wow. And what preset did you use, or what capture did you use for this?
This is a matchless.
A DC30 or an HT30 or something?
I can't remember
That's all right.
what it was, but it's it's one of their matchless captures. Yeah, so I think that the Studio Rats, Amalgam Audio, big time, and also Jason Sedites, I think is his name. He does those 3 are sort of my favorite.
Okay, we'll make sure we link them too, so people can check them out if they're interested in kind of trying this out on their Tonex devices.
I will say that the Tonex or IK Multimedia has just come out with a brown sound.
Oh yeah, I saw Doug Doppler did some promo for another Bay Area guy.
Yeah, incredible captures of this guy who was like really went into the talk about detail.
Yeah, the Variac is all part of it.
All that stuff,
yeah.
Very detailed how to get the Eddie Van Halen brown sound from. I think this first collection is 78, 79.
Have you tried it yet?
Stuff. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. It sounds really good. Really good.
You can do Van Halen and Van Hagar.
Hagar. Yeah. If that's so you choose to do so.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, well, it seems to be one of those products that's really made a huge splash in the marketplace, and there's been innumerable converts, including people like you. You can see from your back wall here that you're not averse to tube amplifiers. So it's quite a statement to say that this is able to do it for you, and you're able to use this as a tool. It's
been really, really great to have it. I still want to record my amps.
Yeah.
And I will keep doing that. Something like this where we're doing lots of different songs, different tones and whatnot. It just makes it really easy. We can listen at basically conversation level.
Yeah.
Usually if I record in the room behind the camera, it's very loud.
Yeah.
And,
and presumably you get some amount of bleed from there.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lyle, this has been incredibly insightful for me as just a fan of you and your music, and I can't tell you how appreciative I am to be sitting next to you and having you recreate some of these parts, and me getting to relive them, and the audience getting to relive some of these amazing songs and some of these amazing soundtracks that we've loved, and movies that we've loved that you've been a part of creating sort of the musical spirit of. And I just I'm so appreciative to your work and your impact on music. Just thank you for being you. And
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, it's really fun to talk about this incredible music.
And if people want to find out more about what you're up to or kind of what's coming up, where can they find that from you?
Well, I've just been recording a lot. I've got many records out right now. So yeah, if you just go on Apple Music or Spotify, there's tons of content of my music. So that's kind of what I'm concentrating on this very moment.
In any planned tours with any artists or anything like that that are going to be coming in the near future?
You just caught me kind of at an open time. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Well,
maybe someone has a job for me.
That's right.
Work for hire.
Yeah. We'll make sure to put your iTunes, Spotify, and your website so people can check in and stay up to date with what you're up to.
Great. Thank you.
Again, thank you again, Lyle, for having us. And it's been a real joy.
Thank you.
Yeah.